And and we're off. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Tuesday, the 2nd of July, AD 2024. Should be live on Rumble, YouTube, D Live, and other platforms. Facebook, Crew, Twitter, which is X, the Hake Report on whichever platform you like. I may even try to go live on IG. What will we cover today? Trump's immunity a little bit. I'll touch on it just a little bit. Some interesting input from Michael Tracey, an independent journalist who's been on the JLP show. He's a liberal, an atheist, but he's an American, in my opinion. You know, a little off, I suppose, on some things, but also, you know, I like his takes. I like hearing what he has to say. Michael Tracey, Tracey. I have seen your super chats coming in. I appreciate that, guys. Terry the strange one. Sending prayers and lifting holy hands. Holy hands emoji and praying hands emoji. Hands together. For your beta back to be healed, all in the name of Jesus. Christian cross emoji. Thank you. Right on. Thank you, Terry. And I'll read the rest of your super chats later this show. Shout out to Gregatron, Lin Yen Chin, Truck Driver, and everybody. Thanks for the support as always. TheHakeReport.com if you want to find out how to support. Thanks kindly, once again. What else did I want to cover today? Oh, be careful cutting avocados. If you're one of those non-lazy people who actually cuts avocados, be careful how you cut them. Don't cut toward yourself. Okay? It's very basics. It's very basic. I learned this in college. Don't cut toward yourself. In art class, no less. That's where I learned it. There was a Destiny meme about Trump. You know, Trump doesn't care about rule of law. Give me a break. He's the only one who cares about rule of law. That's why they want to go after him. That's why they want to shut him out from the government. Because he actually wants to apply the law consistently and fairly for the sake of the country. And they are against the sake of the country. They being the people who hate him, for the most part. Or whether they realize it or not, they're against the sake of the country. So, shout out to our greatest president, Donald J. Trump, a living piece, living history, living white history, right on. As Zion said, may the rest of us whites, some of the rest of us whites, join in. And you guys too. And you guys too. You POCs. Cutting yourself from an avocado is crazy. Yeah, people really do themselves some damage, according to the Washington Compost. But anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I've been meaning to get Dylan Burns back onto the Hake Report with, you know, the wars in Israel and Hamas and the ongoing thing in Ukraine. He cares about Ukraine a lot. He's been to Ukraine. Remember that liberal guy? He was on the Fallen State and the Hake Report. I've been on his former podcast, the Hippy Dippy Round Table. Young man, smart young man, knowledgeable anyway. Precocious. And I haven't been able to, it's been my fault that I haven't got him back on. But yeah, so Dylan Burns, look out for Dylan Burns to return. And I did see some of your requests, including Popcorn's Thump Keg and the rest. Thank you guys for your guest suggestions. And callers, we will get to you. Hang tight. Okay, appreciate it. So, as you guys know, Trump was granted immunity, right on, from the, some immunity from the so-called Supreme Court. And we touched on it just a little bit. I touched on it yesterday with a caller a little bit. JLP touched on it yesterday and more this morning, first hour. Check that first hour out. The so-called Supreme Court ruled, what was it, 6-3? With Ketanji Onyeka Brown Jackson. I'm clicking away from the camera, from the mic, so it doesn't pierce you guys' ears. Headphones, listeners. She's all mad. And Sonia Sotomayor, the wise Latina, she called herself, or she implied, maybe she is, seemed to imply that she's a wise Latina appointed to the so-called Supreme Court. Not so supreme with her on the scene, right? According to, thanks a lot, Obama. Acting like, oh, Trump is now above the law, a terrible thing. Well, you don't care about the law because you're going after the Trump with what they call lawfare, which I understand to mean a phrase that they're waging warfare, politically motivated warfare using the law, abusing the law to go after Trump. And it's quite obvious to everybody except for the snake, Joe from Phoenix and his ilk. Well, actually, James, you don't care about the justice system? That's very un-American. Trump is the law and order president. That's why they hate him. He wanted to enforce the law with regard to the border and bring some sense back into the country. Strengthen the police because we have a crime problem. I know that strengthening the police is a double-edged sword because we have a whole lot of liberals running the police. And the police, many of them are liberals who don't respect the Constitution. I understand that. But we also have a crime problem. A problem race, if you will. The human race. Don't get nervous, blacks. It's not just the blacks committing crimes, but they're out of control, let's be honest. I wonder if that less than 1.05% of blacks commit violent crime. I wonder if included in that count of the blacks, figuring by the snake from Phoenix, Joe. I'm not using the snake puppet. I'm just using my hand as if it's a snake puppet if you're watching the video. Less than 1.05% of blacks commit violent crimes. Why are you blaming the majority of blacks for the actions of a few? I wonder if included in that count by the FBI and your figuring of that percentage, because who knows his fuzzy math, his slimy math, is the all those smash and grabs and looting and mass hordes of young blacks, not necessarily committing anything violent, but just robbing these stores that we see on camera all the time. Shamelessly robbing. I don't think that those are counted in the figures of the less than 1.05%. Bigg Bump and I were doing the math a little bit, and I think it's actually 0.87%, something like that. Violent crime. It's not just violent crime, it's stealing, it's lying, it's bad attitude, it's false accusations of racism, and false accusations, you just don't like Obama because he's black, which comes from these very snakes, the well-behaved snakes. Sort of well-behaved. So Trump is against some of that stuff. Oh, he's nice to the blacks with the black criminals. But Trump is for not letting Black Lives Matter tear apart the country, not letting Antifa tear apart the country. He didn't crack down very hard on them, but he was not for it. And he's speaking against it. The only politician really doing it, honestly. What about the alt-left? He brought up with the Charlottesville thing, where they tried to blame it all on the whites. The beautiful whites. May some of them rest in peace. The persecuted whites. Thankfully, I'm not one of them. He stood up for truth, justice, and the American way. Hat tip to Superman, who is an unchristian so-called superhero. I don't think that superheroes are very Christian. I think they're more of a subversion. But truth, justice, and the American way, that's what Trump was for. Isn't it true? Yes, it's true. And they're trying to, oh, he's acting like he's above the law. Dumb. Stupid. Kids, don't be like Hake. So let me read these from Matt. What did I say that guy's name was? Michael Tracey. Have some screenshots of these immunity tweets. Jeffrey M. Bale posted on X. The court clearly differentiated between a president's... This is immunity 1 in the main folder there. Hassan, hopefully if it's there. The court clearly differentiated between a president's official duties and his unofficial actions. So it wasn't some sort of blanket immunity for everything that a current or future president might do. And Michael Tracey says, well, actually, that's not how he sounds. But this is a good actually. In no way did the court clearly differentiate between official actions and unofficial actions. That's true. That's what I heard. They left it to the lower courts to differentiate. If anything, the exact opposite. It conceded that establishing such a distinction is difficult and declined to offer any definitive boundaries. He's a pretty honest journalist. I would even say he's an honest journalist, even though he's an atheist and a liberal, pacifist type of guy. I'm kind of a pacifist. I'm for peace. Presidents will now have wide latitude to contend that some purportedly private action intersected with their official duties in some yet-to-be elucidated manner. Therefore, it was not a wholly private action. This deficiency was pointed out accurately in Ketanji Onyeka Brown Jackson. For some reason, he uses her last name, I guess. Feminist. He's young. He's not knowingly a feminist. She noted that he should have said Ketanji's descent, so that we know about whom he's talking. So we know that we're not talking about her husband. She noted that the majority gave virtually no guidance as to how to consistently, split infinitive there, how to consistently distinguish between official and unofficial acts. The infinitive is to distinguish. In Spanish, it would be unsplittable because it would be called distinguir or whatever these Spanish people talk. Shout out to the Spanish people speaking. Thus leaving the parameters of the official and unofficial conduct unknown. That's fine. That's totally fine. I'm fine with that. Ketanji Onyeka Brown Jackson. For some reason, she leaves the Onyeka out, but that's my favorite part of her name. Favorite only in that it's kind of cute/funny. I suppose it's not cute when it comes down to it. When it comes down to brass tacks, it's not cute that her evil parents called her evil American parents, by the way. Ketanji, Onyeka shows African names when they're both black Americans with normal black American names, normal American names. Evil parents set her up, and she's passing that mess onto the rest of us. Thanks a lot, Obama, Biden. Okay, so that's that. Thank you, Michael Tracey. Yes, it's not clearly defined. What the dissent does seem to get right is that the court has invented a vast new category of criminal immunity that has little or no precedent in American law or history. But this owes to Jack Smith. Jack Smith being that maverick prosecutor, he's an independent, he's a triathlete. Looks like he should be fat, but he's actually sort of fit. With a beard. Precedent upheaving prosecution. Jack Smith's precedent upheaving prosecution against Trump. Can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. Oh, show this immunity too in the folder there. That's what I was just reading. The dissent refuses to acknowledge it was the DOJ that advocated for this scheme of official acts to begin with as a means to cover for the obvious historical transgressions of past presidents. Chief Justice Roberts simply picking up that ball where the DOJ laid down, says Phil S. Goodman. That's right. They were going after Trump. It was politically motivated, obviously. They don't care about the rule of law. They hate the rule of law. That's why they tried to go after Trump and try to accuse him of breaking the law. So phony. And this last one, Biden claims that the Supreme Court immunity ruling on Trump undermines the rule of law. That's the last one with Biden there, Hassan. Immunity 3. So Trump is immune to your phony, devilish, fiery darts attacks against him. Spiritually immune and legally immune. Based. Right on. In your face. In your face. Shall I show you one more thing real quick before I get to calls? Hang tight, callers. Yeah, Destiny. Destiny's been on the JLP show before a number of times. The Fallen State as well. He debated Vincent James, real Vincent James, on the Second Amendment. Because he's kind of a mama. He's like, I want to save people's lives. What a beta. Violate the Second Amendment just to save people's lives. How about enforce the law more harshly on the blacks and stop subsidizing single mothers? Oh, but he's too much of a mama for that. He's too much of a communist. Isn't he Cuban and also not Christian? He's part not Christian and he's part Cuban. Those are the two of the worst things. He's basically a communist. But he's a sensible communist sometimes. Shout out to Destiny. I actually like him. The Omni Liberal posted on X this meme. Destiny meme Trump 1. We are a government of laws, not men, said John Adams. That's not the case anymore. Now we're a government of beta males and women. And then they have Trump with all these words that I haven't bothered reading. I think Trump posted on Truth Social in all caps, a president of the United States must have full immunity, without which it would be impossible for him/her. Oh, Lord, Trump. Always giving a head nod to the ladies. Possibility that they may become president one day. Presidentess. For him or her to properly function. Oh, he split his infinitive. That's okay, Trump. He's still the president. I mean, our greatest, anyway. Any mistake, even if well-intended, would be met with almost certain indictment by the opposing party at the term end. Even events that cross the line, quote-unquote, must fall under total immunity, or it will be years of trauma trying to determine good from bad. There must be certainty. Example, you can't stop police from doing the job of a strong and effective crime prevention. Police brutality, righteous brutality, right? Not unrighteous. Justified violence, not unjustified violence, right? Because you want to guard against the occasional rogue cop or bad apple. Sometimes you just have to live with the great but slightly imperfect. All presidents must have complete and total presidential immunity, or the authority and decisiveness of a president of the United States will be stripped, and gone forever. Hopefully this will be an easy decision. God bless the Supreme Court, said Trump. And then that's attributed to, they don't even name Trump because they hate Trump so bad. This is a liberal meme. The left can't meme, they say. Instead of attributing it to Donald J. Trump, they attribute it to guy who definitely didn't break any laws. I like the sarcasm. It's funny. It's amusing, even though it's too many words. And they showed an sort of an unflattering photograph of Trump, his face. You know, he's like putting his head down. But I still recognize our greatest president. Based. And I don't know who John Adams was, what the second president, what does he know? And also, John Adams probably was a more sensible man than any of the liberals today, or the rhinos. Government of laws, not men. That's right, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. They said a republic protects the minority of one, the individual, from the majority. But we don't really have that anymore because they can violate Trump supporters, whites, Christians, men, children, even the ladies. And I do mean ladies. So that was Destiny's little meme. I saw a funny reply, and I don't normally encourage this, from Lauren Southern. Oh, Lord. She's still on the internet. Didn't she get married? Well, let's not talk about her. But she's all leftist meme. She posted this. Leftist memes be like, and then it's all these pages and pages and pages of words, or lines and lines and lines of tiny words that you can barely read. Yeah, too wordy. That's like Hake memes. I must be somewhat of a leftist, too. Am I part communist? Because I'm wordy. Intellectual. A liberal. But that's funny. Looking at, it's a graphic for those who don't see, who aren't watching, or who can't see, or whatever, physically speaking. It says, leftist memes be like. And be like is black. Yes, black has infected the whole culture. And I say infected in a good way, even though infected sounds negative. It's funny. Blacks are funny, entertaining, and the way they speak is stylish. It is a little cringe-worthy when we whites talk like them. I'd get it. And I'm not for it, but also we can't help it. It's catching. It's contagious, the way the blacks talk. I know it's destructive to the English language, you could say. Beautiful White History Month. But they're saying leftist memes be like, and there's way too much writing that you don't even want to read. Yeah, memes do not work. Here's a better meme. Let me show you this last quick meme. JLP, dump her and block her from your phone, Jesse Lee Peterson. Since we're on the topic of memes, this is a better meme. I forget where I saw this. Hat tip to whoever made it. It's a picture of the great Black Hope, Jesse Lee Peterson. You know him. And it's a talk bubble that reads, dump her and block her from your phone. Nice. Nice. And that's oftentimes love, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Don't take umbrage. Dump her and block her from your phone. You can't save her. You can't help her. You're just selfish by keeping her around. And she's just selfish, feeding off of you as well. Two devils in a symbiotic evil relationship. You know what I mean? Dump her and block her from your phone. So I say that to whoever's, with Lauren Southern. Joelle Friday. Not infected. Okay. So that's wise advice from JLP. It doesn't apply to all men, okay? It doesn't apply to all. Do what you want, of course, JLP says. Don't take it as word from the Lord necessarily, unless it's right. Just listen to the Holy Spirit within. But he has the Spirit of Christ, the Spirit of the Father. Now that's how memes are made, says Vasco. Indeed. Indeed. So, hope that was fun, guys. I got to get to Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. My co-host, the Snake. It is the Hake and Snake Show. How you doing, Joe in Phoenix?
Good morning, James.
Hey, morning.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can, and I heard the little lamb baaing in the background. So cute.
Yeah, it's the goat, actually, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell the difference. Goats and lambs. Hake doesn't know.
Yeah. So I'm back from vacation.
Nice. Congrats. Hope you had hope you're refreshed.
Nice relaxing time. Refreshed and ready to battle your evil as usual.
Wow. Well, yeah, fine.
Where to begin? My goodness.
Yeah, I went after you this morning.
The 1.05%. That's so funny how you continually ignore white-collar crime. I wonder why, gee.
What the issue is, is that we're talking about one topic, and you have to change the topic to, what about whites? Because by white collar crime doesn't mean white people. You know that, right?
Not according to the FBI.
It doesn't mean white people. You know that, right?
No, not according to the FBI, and they would know more. They would know better than you.
It doesn't mean white people. You know that, right?
No, you're wrong, James. You asked the FBI,
white collar crime means white people?
I'll give you a quote from the FBI.
No, does it mean white people?
Crime. I'll give you a quote.
No. You can answer me yes or no, and then quote the FBI. White collar crime means white people?
Yeah.
Okay, so according to the FBI, black collar crime means black people.
There is no black collar crime.
Blue collar crime means black people, according to the FBI.
No, it can mean anything.
It means black people, according to the FBI.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
According to the FBI.
According to Joe's translation of the FBI, blue collar crime means black people.
Makes you look more guilty. Makes you look more guilty.
You're a mess.
They're looking for a college-educated white man. That's the FBI talking, not Joe from Phoenix.
White collar crime can be anybody. It includes blacks. Blacks are overrepresented in white collar crime.
When there's a white collar crime, they're looking for a college-educated white male. That's their words, not mine.
But that doesn't mean all white collar crime is by whites. It's more common among.
Didn't say all.
Yeah, no, but you said it means white people, so that means all.
No, you tried to pigeonhole me in that. I just gave you a quote. That's all I did.
No, you didn't give me a quote or an answer that was honest.
I gave you the exact honest words from the FBI.
You didn't give me the context of the quote, nor did you give me anything. You were just trying to be a Mr. Smarty Pants. All you did was, what about white people? What about white people? Justifying black crime.
Absolute immunity. Interesting. So the Supreme Court dropped a big old bomb when they had that ruling.
Were you crying?
What's going to happen?
Did you cry?
Was I crying? No, did not.
Why not?
Because all that's going to happen is that.
Did you know that you were going to do it?
A hurricane.
Did your sources tell you that they were going to do absolute immunity?
No, I don't have sources on the Supreme Court, and they do not do absolute immunity.
I didn't say it either. I was just reading what Trump said.
Yeah. All they did was create an absolute hurricane of litigation now at the lower court level as to what is official and what is not. But it is good news for Trump, because that means that the Jack Smith case just got a lot more difficult. Both of them, the Mar-a-Lago and the J6 case.
Yep.
So that's good news for you.
Oh, it's not good news for me. It's good news for the country.
No, it's terrible news for the country. But
how is it terrible news for the country? They're persecuting Trump for being an honest man, and they're pretending like they're using the law. They're using the law, trying to use the law against a lawful law and order president who clearly loves the country.
Dirtbag criminal.
See, you're not you're a biased source. You are crying.
Yeah, you wish I was crying.
No, you're crying. You're calling Trump a dirtbag criminal. That's sour grapes if I've ever heard it.
That's what he is.
No, that's what you are. In your imagination, he's a dirtbag criminal. In normal people's minds, he is our greatest president. Who is a law and was he or was he not the law and order president?
He was not.
Oh, he definitely was. He wouldn't want the Black Lives Matter tearing apart the country. He didn't want the shutdowns destroying the country's economy, and he wanted the border enforced. That's why they hate him, because he didn't go along with Black Lives Matter. He didn't go along with the illegal alien invasion. And he didn't go along with the communist shutdowns in the name of the China virus.
Well, you can believe it all you want to.
I just named you some facts. You can deny all the facts all you want.
Those aren't facts at all.
Yes, they are. Those are facts. Trump was for the border, right? He was for the border, right? A strong border.
Did he build a wall?
Yes, he did.
He didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No,
now you're lying.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
And where did he get the money for that, James?
From Congress or wherever. I don't know. He appropriated it. So he did. So you admit that he did build the wall, right?
He built some of the wall.
Yeah, see? So then he built wall. I just caught you lying and contradicting yourself.
Nope. Wrong again.
Yeah.
Wrong
No.
again.
I'm right. It's the facts.
You're doing a good job steamrolling this morning, James.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Steamroll. You got to steamroll over the snake because the snake likes to pretend like he's above it all when really he's very low. He's very low. You're low. Aren't you low down?
Sure, James.
You're a low down snake. And you hate. You're a hater. You're supposed to be a Christian, Joe in Phoenix, and you're hating Trump, calling him a dirtbag criminal.
That's what he is.
That's what he is. That's not true. And you also smeared. You also attacked Azzmador, who was a fine American and your fellow Christian.
Speaking of which, it looks like I traded a monster. My pastor buddy, the entire time I was gone, was texting me.
Nice.
I guess there was numerous calls trying to chastise or criticize me for my comments about that neo-Nazi dirtbag.
See? Listen to the evil.
Who's riding an HE double hockey sticks right now.
Listen to the evil inside of this person who's going after his fine late fellow American Azzmador. He's calling him a neo-Nazi and riding in hell. Terrible.
I didn't call him that.
No, you called him that.
Multiple links call him that.
And so you joined in those multiple Google links smearing the man. And
speaking of neo-Nazis, did you see that the FBI has raised the threat from neo-Nazis and the far right to the same level as ISIS?
I'm not surprised because the FBI are liberals and they like to fearmonger and they like to divide. And there are many whites who are angry, just as you are angry, and violent, just as you are violent. So whites, stay away from the anger and violence and vitriol, because these people want to provoke you. They lick their chops at provoking another terror attack. So don't fall into terror attacks. Don't fall into retaliation. Listen to the JLP's biblical question about why do you attack back when somebody attacks you? Don't feel attacked. And when somebody attacks somebody else who's white or whatever, just because they hate white people, don't attack back. That's what the Groypers need to learn too. Don't be attacked. Don't be attacking just because somebody criticized Nick Fuentes. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
Save you, James, when they come for you.
What's that?
Those disclaimers are not going to save you when they come for you.
I'm not disclaiming anything. All I'm giving is great advice. You are showing your evil and ill will by pretending like I'm responsible for other people's actions. You're evil. Shame on you.
No, it's not me.
You're not very American, are you?
The FBI raised the level on those neo-Nazis that you have to cozy up to, and so I don't have to be.
Oh, so they raised the. So you imagine who's one neo-Nazi that I cozy up to?
No, you cozied up to the dead and rotting HE double hockey sticks Azzmador.
So they raised the threat level on Azzmador after he died. Is Azzmador more of a threat after he died?
This was a couple of years ago, actually. They raised it.
And so was Azzmador proved not to be a threat whatsoever. He always condemned violence and anger. So you're lying on me. You're lying. Not lying on me is a black talk for it. You're lying. You're lying against me. So you are bearing false witness against your neighbor, me.
You can keep cozying up to me all you want to, James.
You're bearing false witness against thy neighbor. That's in the Bible.
Were you aware they raised that threat level, James?
Of course. Yeah, a couple of years ago I heard that.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, huh?
You
told me something like it was brand new, and you told me, actually, it was a couple of years ago, and I remember something happened like that a couple of years ago.
I didn't say it was brand new at all.
You acted like, I know, but you presented it to me, and it came off to me as though it was brand new, and then you said, well, actually, it was a couple of years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard stuff like this before, and you're falsely accusing me and Azzmador of being a threat. That's ridiculous.
It's a good thing that there's less evil in the world, and it's a good thing that the FBI is on the side of people like me, good, decent, moral people. And it's funny for those who.
Did you know that evil is not personal?
Do you know it's funny that people who are criticizing me, your criticism is hollow and incredibly stupid, because the phrase "I know hallucinate" was used on your show, and no one called in to criticize that. So,
there was plenty of people who called in to criticize that. Terry the beautiful, strange one said something about it, and you said something about it, and I said something about it, and the man who said it said something about it. So you're lying again. But did you know that evil is not personal?
No, evil is personal.
No, it's not personal. So if an evil man dies, if an evil man dies, that doesn't mean that there's less evil in the world.
Yes, it does.
Nuh-uh.
One less instance of it. Sure.
You're giving an evil reaction to a man, a decent man, dying, and so your evil is spreading. So there's not less evil in the world.
Are not decent. Neo-Nazis are slime of the earth.
I have no idea. I have no idea where you're getting the Azzmador is. I actually have a couple of ideas. One is the SPLC. Another is maybe the ADL. Two evil organizations who love to smear people, white Americans. So you're spreading evil.
Attack, James. You're so under attack.
Evil is a spirit. Did you know that? And the spirit is in you.
You're hysterical. You're absolutely hysterical. Anyway.
Thank you.
The absolute immunity, it's going to be a tsunami of cases at the lower courts. It's going to slow down the Jack Smith cases. So that's good news for you.
Isn't Jack Smith a joke? Out. I respect him for being a triathlete, though. A triathlete runs, swims, and bicycles.
Why do you call your fellow Christian man a joke?
Because Christian men can be a joke sometimes. It's a joke. He's a Christian, Jack Smith?
As far as I know.
Nice. Hey, what's up, Jack Smith? Why are you trying to take down a fellow Christian, Jack Smith? Trying to take down Trump, our greatest president.
Right.
You think Jack Smith is watching?
You never know who's watching your channel.
Are you celebrating White History Month?
History doesn't have a color.
But what about White History Month?
History does not have a color.
Right, but do you celebrate White History Month?
You heard my answer twice already.
It sounds like is that a no?
I celebrate history, period.
Nice. So you never supported Black History Month or Black History Week or anything else, huh?
I support history, period, no matter who's making it.
Oh, okay. So you do support White History Month.
Nope. I support people who make history and people who deserve to be celebrated.
Trump made history. Robert E. Lee made history. Jesse Lee Peterson made history. So nice. Thank you, Joe in Phoenix. Hey.
Nice spin, James.
But you celebrate anybody who's making history.
Robert E. Lee was also a dirtbag and a slime bag. He sold slaves back. He was sold free black people back into slavery, separated family, absolute dirtbag, and he's a loser and a traitor. So there you go.
Wow.
That's who he was.
You're worse than the Yankees.
The Yankees who won, you mean?
Yeah, you're worse than them. You're more evil than the Yankees. The Yankees welcomed Robert E. Lee back into the fold with open arms, and you give the cold shoulder like a vicious woman.
And you yourself wouldn't want to be a slave, right?
Of course not. But I suppose in a manner of speaking, I am.
Oh yeah, you are, and you're going to remain one because you don't understand what the real battle going on is. You love to focus on color and denigrate the blacks.
No, I don't denigrate the blacks. I like the blacks, and I don't focus on color.
Well, you hate black people.
No, I don't. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you do.
No, I love black people.
You love to denigrate them.
That's not true.
And you love to stereotype them, and you love to just.
I love to stand up for right and wrong. Everybody stands up for right and wrong.
That's why you have neo-Nazi fans.
I don't know any neo-Nazi fans.
Yeah,
but shout out to the neo-Nazi fans. Do you love the neo-Nazis?
Young person in Texas.
Do you love the neo-Nazis?
I love the neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
No, I'm not Jesus-like, so.
Wow, some Christian you are. You're supposed to be like Jesus.
Yeah, I try, but I fall short just like everyone.
I know, but you're not supposed to be so flippant. Don't you think that it's flippant? They don't want you dead. Well, I mean, if anyone wants you dead, okay, let's say that they do. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't love them. You're supposed to be like Christ.
Nope. Leviticus 26:7. They will die by the sword.
That man debunked you yesterday. There's a young man who called in and debunked that verse. A couple of them, actually.
I didn't hear about that, but I'm
so
sure.
Love the Neos. Love the Neos. We'll call them Neos because I don't like to use the N-word. Don't use the N-word on whites, Joe in Phoenix. That's our word.
I'm not using it on whites. I use it on specific people who deserve it.
I know, but they're white and they're using it on them. It's inappropriate. It's very vicious and presumptuous. Nice talking with you, Joe in Phoenix. We had fun.
Yeah,
that was a
good day.
Nice one. Take care. Ooh.
Bye.
Bye. Mark in Los Angeles, California, on the line. What's up, Mark?
Happy White History Month.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah, you give that scumbag way too much time.
Possibly.
I would call it constructive criticism.
Fair enough.
He has nothing to offer but his hatred for the white race. That's all he is.
No, but you were not at all interested in our discussion?
Not at all. I only had to hold on because I wanted to get on the line.
So you weren't interested when I said, "What about white collar?" When I called him out for saying, "What about white collar crime?"
Okay, I could counter that right away.
No, but you weren't. Were you interested in how I discussed that?
Oh, I mean, you did what you could. You did okay.
Thank
what
you.
I'm trying to say is, though, you could have easily pointed to that mayor in Dalton, Illinois. Wherever it's from, that black woman mayor, she's guilty as the devil.
And that's white-collar crime?
Yeah, that's white-collar crime.
Yeah, I know. Our resident historian on his Telegram exposed, and I cited it as a source one time, research from people who found that blacks commit more white-collar crime per capita compared to their share of the population.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can't trust anything. First of all, you can't trust anything that devil just said.
Right.
But if you were to look into
But why are you
it,
calling him a devil? Like, let's not just be calling him the devil. Even if he is somewhat, in a sense, a devil, you're, cool your jets a little bit, man. Because I encourage him to be more loving, and I also want to encourage you to be more loving.
Well,
when I say loving, I just mean less emotional in your vitriol.
Okay, but didn't Satan come in the form of a snake?
I think so. Yep.
Okay,
it's in the Bible.
Covers what that snake that you just had on is.
I know, but he's literally a snake. He's like a light-skinned black mix
with the devil in him. Yeah, with Satan in his soul.
True, but I mean that applies to human beings. It's not as if it's just him. Like you can't just sit on your laurels just because you're a Catholic Christian man and think that you're going to heaven and looking down on your fellow man, because that man thinks that he's a Christian and thinks that you're not a Christian and going to hell.
Well, no, he's pretty. I would say
you
at
guys,
this point,
you guys think that
he's pretty much proven that he is not a Christian after what he said about Azzmador. And as far as being a conservative,
I know, but a lot of Christians
for Obama. No conservative votes for Obama.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't hold. I'm agreeing with you completely on his lack of Christian values, of course. But the point is to look at yourself. Always watch yourself. Like, remove the plank out of your own eye so that you can see clearly to remove the speck out of your brother Joe from Phoenix, the snake's eye.
Well, don't forget.
Yeah.
The devil said that he worked for McCain, and then he voted for Obama.
No, but he doesn't like McCain. Like, he knew that he didn't work for him. It's not that he turned on they worked together. They worked kind of against each other. And who even knows if he's telling the truth about that, honestly?
Well, I know.
Yeah.
Just going on what he said. You know, that could have been his son that was making that noise in the background. Who knows? But I was going to say that
I didn't follow that.
He kept interrupting, so now I got to track back. Okay. With the in regards to whatever the FBI said, they're not going to say it's only white college-educated men committing white-collar crime. That's an openly racist statement. I know the FBI is anti-white,
right? But
they're not going to show it that blatantly.
No, they might say something like that just to give credence. Just to give the blacks like Joe from Phoenix ammunition to say, what about white people crime? So it's politically correct to say, oh, we're going to go after whites most of the time.
I thought I heard Satan say just now that it was exclusively white men?
No, he didn't.
He say that?
He admitted that it was not exclusively white men. He just quoted the FBI. There's probably a statement in the FBI if this guy's telling the truth at all. There might be
that's what I mean.
There might be some words. You know how Eric Holder has written stuff for the DOJ that, oh, the Ferguson report showed that Ferguson police did targeted blacks disproportionately, even for the country. And then the actual facts did not show that at all.
No.
Yeah. So there might be some liberals in the FBI who write something offhand like that to be politically correct and go after the whites, because it's politically correct to smear the whites.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, again, the FBI are anti-white.
Of course.
The organization has always been. The only thing they did right was put a wiretap on Martin Luther King.
Right.
When they investigated that commie, that was the only thing they did right, and they won't give us the results of that investigation.
I know.
But anyway, getting to what I called about, I think we should dedicate this year's White History Month to the white women and children who have been victims of Biden's open border and the black criminals that are taking advantage of this dope in the White House and going on a crime spree across America where there are white women victims and children.
Yeah.
I think that's what we should dedicate this year's White History Month to.
Interesting, man. Yeah, it's a shame what's happening to the country.
And these are the only things, I mean, this is what we're hearing. This is what the press is putting out, and that the cops are not hiding. How many other victims are there?
Yeah.
You know, we're hearing about the high-profile cases because they can't really hide those.
Right.
But there's a war. I know you don't like me to say this, but there's a book written. It's called The War on Whites. I'm not trying to sell it.
But you're promoting it, man. You should just.
Well, I'm just giving you the title.
I know that's called promoting it. Don't be promoting stuff without permission. But I appreciate it, Mark. You're right.
But there is a war on whites.
I gotta go, Mark. It's good to hear from you, man.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Don't be promoting stuff. Don't be promoting stuff. Brent in Reno, Nevada is on the line here. Brent, I appreciate you calling and holding there, man.
Yeah, it's good to call you, Hake.
Nice.
Just wanted to slide in there because, again, I find these conversations fascinating.
Yeah, true.
There's something, and I'm not, Joe, if you're listening, I don't want this to sound like an attack. It's just something that I noticed, is that he kind of ramps up when he's saying things like HE double hockey sticks or, neo-Nazi. It's like you can, because I've experienced this myself. Like in the past, I would get super angry at something, and then I have like a buzzword where it's like, oh, like, I'm so angry, I just want to die, and it's like a thrill.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You package all that anger into that word, and it's like a punch that you're throwing. And
yeah.
So it really seems like a thrill seek.
That's the same thing with Mark, with calling Joe the devil. Like there's an evil energy behind it.
Right,
yeah.
right. Well,
and Mark, I had to let you go because you know better than to be plugging stuff. But he doesn't. Apparently he hasn't learned not to plug stuff at all. But he keeps on wanting to plug stuff. But anyway, yeah, you're right about that, Brent.
Yeah.
There's an angry thrill in words. Your favorite buzzwords.
Yeah, it feels like, because it's like, oh, aren't you? It's like, don't you want to disagree? Because I said they're burning in hell. And
right.
Like, sorry to say the actual word. But
right.
It's just like, it's, on its face, it's just so, it's like, maybe if not for starting the silent prayer and forgiving and everything, I wouldn't see it the way I do now. But it's just so blatantly obvious that it's like, you feel good when you say those things.
Right.
Why would you ever feel good about anybody going to hell?
Yeah.
And so that seems like that should be the perfect moment to, quit your crying and look at the puddle that you created beneath you.
Yeah, interesting.
You can see the reflection. Yeah, but as far as the white collar thing, it's the same with blue collar jobs and white collar jobs. Like, usually white collar crimes are of like a financial nature, whereas blue collar just can mean, you know, some way of supplementing the income, like theft or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, so like white collar crimes are usually of a financial nature, like, you know,
right,
embezzling or.
And think of the politicians who've been caught with white collar crimes, like Hispanics. That guy allegedly. Remember that Hispanic guy he's kind of still being charged. He's been known to be, or suspected anyway, to be criminal for a long time. I know there's been some a whole bunch of black politicians who've been ousted for different crazy crimes, and then reelected after that even. So shameless.
Well, it is kind of, as far as the crime aspect goes, is like not necessarily the differentiation between the blue collar and white collar thing, but how, again, it feels like it's that word train, you know. It's like, oh, I'm waiting for the right train to get on, and it's like, this is something I can ride, because it feels like it sells really well. It's like, oh, these white collar crimes,
right?
And it's like, you don't really even know what that means, and yet if you thought about it from a common sense point of view, it's like, oh, it was financial stuff, and there was really no victim. Like, maybe, you know, in some cases where it's like scams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's
interesting.
Like,
it's kind of like they accused Trump of switching, mislabeling something when he took out a loan and labeled Mar-a-Lago to be more valuable than it was, supposedly. That was like supposedly, if it's even true, which I don't buy it, a victimless situation, because he paid the money back on the loan, and the bank who loaned him the money, they're not babies. They have a difference of opinion on what the value of Mar-a-Lago might be, and there's all kinds of differences of opinion. And the other dishonesty about bringing up white-collar crime is that blacks are underrepresented in the white-collar world of finance and business and all that stuff. Well, maybe not anymore. They're getting a lot of affirmative action. But yet they're still overrepresented in committing these crimes because they have a culture of dishonesty. You can hear that dishonesty
capita,
in Joe himself.
Yeah. Well, the per capita rate is so insane. Like, to think that, you know, not to get into, I mean, the numbers feel like it would just pull up the algorithm, so I don't want to get you banned. But, you know, you've heard the actual numbers, and you hear those numbers, and it's like, that is insane. That'd be like, oh yeah, I had a spoiled banana in my refrigerator, and now I have to throw away all my food.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. He's just trying to draw a false equivalence, and there is no equivalence to draw.
And there really isn't, Matt. It's dishonest, and at one point in my life I'd find it sad, but I just find it kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
And kind of like, wow. But I will say this much, like, I have a couple of pretty close friends who, you know, got a late start in life, and they kind of didn't pursue the same things that we went to college for, and so they ended up working jobs that weren't paying as much.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, these people are working insane hours now to just put food on the table. And to me, I go that's not because of Trump doing anything with Mar-a-Lago or paying somebody for some alleged crime or anything like that, even if he was guilty of everything that they're saying he's guilty of, I have friends who are like starving right now.
Right.
Because of a president who's sending money to Ukraine.
Right.
That's not, you know, that's not a crime, you know? People are actually being harmed by that. I'm sure if I know people who are starving, I'm sure there's Americans out there who are no longer starving because they're just dead because of what inflation has done.
You think there's any Americans who've starved to death?
Probably. Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know, man. That sounds... I think that at that point, that's America. That's the individual's fault.
It may be, but I kind of go
I
like,
can't even imagine anybody starved to death. It's got to be their own fault. I know somebody froze to death one time. There was a homeless guy who froze to death. One of the liberals or communists whom I debated, he claims that this homeless guy he knew froze to death when he was away out of town. But
yeah, I just mean like if you're not, you know, look, there's like if we were in a better economic standing,
right?
You know, so somebody being able to work the normal amount of hours that they were able to.
I'm with you there.
Is no longer able to work those hours. And I don't necessarily mean like, oh, they weren't able to eat for so long and then they just died. But even malnutrition will do to it. You know, like people get crazy health effects.
People are getting worse from reacting poorly to stress and eating poorly and stuff like that.
Oh,
people are killing themselves with their bad habits.
I don't know that. I know inflation is bad right now, right? I don't know that I believe the conservatives saying, you know, for all intents and purposes, the rhinos saying that, like, oh, you know, this is the worst it's ever been and stuff like that. If it is, like, then that's good, but I would rather than just be honest than have another politician try to sell a lie, and then when it turns out to not be true, you know, we're you know, putting all our eggs in one basket. So I don't know. The economic standpoint thing I'm kind of up in the air with, but I'll say that I think just that, you know, that people are actually suffering in this presidency. And I go, if the crimes that Trump committed has really harmed nobody, yet the things that Biden's done has harmed people, and yet they aren't crimes, maybe crimes don't matter all that much in the end anyway. I'm like, who does it affect? But I think it's complete political prosecution.
Yeah, definitely. It's obvious.
I think if anybody should go to jail right now, it's Jill Biden.
Yeah, for elder abuse.
Yeah.
Is there such a crime as elder abuse? It's funny.
Gosh, it's terrible, that clip of her, you know, like hyping up the 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap. All right.
Terrible.
Society we live in.
Evil.
And I know that you don't like promotions and stuff, but I have a quick, because we have a similar experience growing up. I have a question. Growing up and listening to Christian music, do you ever remember a guy named Paul Aldrich?
Of course.
He's still kicking. He's still on doing all sorts of stuff.
Is he still in SoCal?
Yeah. I think he might live in Los Angeles. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought he lived out in one of the beaches around here. Okay, that's funny, man.
Yeah, I just.
That's funny that you've heard of him, because he was sort of. I only knew about him because of Christian family camp that I went to.
Same though. Like the church that I grew up going to, Crossroads Christian Church, I think is where we found out about him, and then.
That's
sure
funny,
enough,
man.
We would take like family vacations and drive to, you know, whatever. And
for those who don't know, he is a Christian comedian guy. that I've been meaning to. I think I've played some of his songs on here. Anyway, thank you, Brent. It's good to hear from you, man.
Yeah. Do Jesus in the 90s at some point. That's a pretty good one.
Take care, man.
Yeah, great talking to you, man.
Yeah,
Have
you
a
as
great
well.
Week.
All right.
Oh, and happy 4th.
Indeed. Happy Independence Day. We'll be live, I think. I mean, we plan to be live. The only reason I think is because of my beta back, but I should be fine. Thanks, man.
I feel it. Well, I wish you well on that. Later.
Bye. Guys, we're at the top of the hour. Before I get back to calls, I am due to read some super chats, everybody. Pork Chop Express, thank you for the Rumble rant. It says, shout out to the whites, creating the greatest country on this side of heaven. If I love anyone, I love the whites. Indeed. Yeah, you should love the whites. If you don't love the whites, you don't love anybody. Including the neos. You got to love the neos. If you want to be a man of God. God loves the neos. Nice. Thank you, Pork Chop Express. Over on buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Let's see. Truck driver says, Senor James, can we get Joe the Snake's opinion about Trump's immunity? This must have wounded him deeply. That's what you were my inspiration, man. I read your super chat to myself before taking Joe from Phoenix's call, the Snake, Joe the Snake. This one must have wounded him deeply. I bet he is licking his wounds. Indeed, he was. He's like, Trump is a dirtbag and a criminal. He's wounded right here, right? So Joe is licking his wound. By the way, U.S. men's national team got knocked out yesterday of Copa America. Nice. That sounds like soccer. Football. Right on. Good job. Come back home, U.S. men's national team. Don't we have that one guy who does the Messi? Don't we have Messi now? Terry sent prayers, lifted holy hands for my beta back. Thank you once again, Terry, who also reads a Bible passage, Psalm 73, 73rd Psalm, verses 25 and 26. Whom have I in heaven but you? And there is none on earth that I desire besides you. Speaking to God, right? My flesh and my heart fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Amen, Terry, the strange one. The beautiful strange one, right? Of course. Gregatron over on Streamlabs states, hey, Hake, is Bigg Bump coming for the 4th? If so, we're going to get this truth. I don't think he'll be here for the 4th. He may be here for the 5th. Maybe here for the 5th, which would be Friday. Okay, so stay tuned. We will let you know. Thank you for the, indeed, the reminder about Bigg Bump. BIGG BUMP. Linian Shin says, have you noticed Reep? REEP. And parentheses G grape have the same core value of, quote, taking without permission, unquote. I suggest one is branched off the other, while holding a tone of disdain. Reep must precede grape. Reep, R-E-E-P. Let me look this up. Define reep. Reep, noun, plural reppin, rope. What is the reep? Receptor expression enhancing proteins, evolutionary conserved protein family, pivotal to the structure and function of the endoplasmic reticulum. Hey, haven't seen that word since 7th grade science. Endoplasmic reticulum. Nice word. Don't ask me what that is. What is the meaning of reaps? R-E-A-P is to gather or take a crop or harvest, as in a return, recompense, or result to reap large profits. But usually that you reap what you sow. Not always. If you reap the benefits of the rewards sometimes that can be without permission. What does this slang reap mean? Reap means the same as gain in slang. I'm trying to find out what you mean by reap. I'm wondering if I'm missing something. And he's saying grape for ape-ray, I'm pretty sure. Because that I understand, taking the S word from the woman, usually, I guess. I don't know, is ape-ray usually against a woman? Without permission. Yeah, I'm not for that. Don't be ape-raying. I don't, this doesn't seem right, you know? And then reap, I'm not sure. The other holding a tone of disdain. I don't know, Lin Yen Chin. I'm slow. I don't grab context as you have stated before. So thank you, though. Thank you, though. Much appreciated. I gave it my best for the moment. I need to breathe through my nose and use proper spinal alignment. The Reaper takes your soul. Oh, hey, thank you, RICKA. Frederick. He meant to say creep. This is an off-the-rails typo, says Carver. The Reaper, Grim Reaper. R-E-A-P-E-R, pretty sure. I don't know. Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Speaking of Frederick, RICKA in Los Angeles is on the line. We call him RICKA just for a nickname. It's funny. It's cute. And it's short. What's up, man?
What's up? Good morning.
Morning.
Yep, it's RICKA. I got a question. Does Mark believe in black supremacy now that 10% of the blacks is responsible for over 50% of the violence?
they're supreme violent in the realm of violence. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean they got to be putting balance on their own people and at least 35-40% of the white people. And like the last caller was saying, I mean they don't want to stop the violence. Is it like I'd rather y'all abuse the white people than us to give y'all a raise so y'all don't have to take and y'all just deal with it? Why do the white people allow it?
Why do the black people allow it, or why do the white people allow it?
The white people that's in majority let just a small, maybe 5% do 50% of the violent crime in America. That don't seem like the whites are like superior in any type of way. If they can't raise up and stop the little 10% of the blacks that do over 50% of the crime in America, it seems like they promote it and saying, take America.
Right, exact. I'm with you, man. The whites are not acting very superior. We used to be more sensible and crack down on you.
Is it the cop's
crack
job
down
to
on you
solve
guys.
these crimes?
No, it's the parents' job to raise the children right in the first place. It's the pastors.
The white kids right or the black kids right?
Both. It's the parents of the black kids. It's the pastors, the black pastors, and the other white pastors too, and everybody, the men's job to tell the truth and not lie and not promote false anger and false victimhood. So there's a whole lot of failures at every level among all the races, and it's a mess. And this is the black violence is really just a symptom. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. The black violence is not a problem. Did you know that? It's a symptom, not a problem. It's not a symptom of poverty. It's a symptom of evil possessing them. And possessing the other people who let it happen.
The evil coming
and possessing the other people from Satan through their mothers and through themselves and through the people whom they follow. Because they're followers. Most of you guys, you know how most of you guys are followers. You don't think for yourselves and just believe any old crazy cockamamie thing.
I think we're waking up.
I don't think so. What's the evidence they're waking up?
Look at Bronny.
A few of them are waking up and like supporting Trump, but that's not a real awakening. That's just Trump. Listen. Yeah.
Trump ain't nothing but a Bronny. Remember Fred Trump? He opened all the doors for Trump, and now LeBron James got that for Bronny. Yeah, he had $1 million loan. Bronny gets $1 million contract.
So
yes,
okay, so you're admitting. So you're admitting that. So you're admitting that.
Oh my God!
That Fred Trump. You're admitting that Fred Trump, the father to Donald J. Trump, was an alpha man and one of the greatest of all time, the king.
I ain't say all that.
You're admitting, because
no, I don't like.
Is it true or is it not that LeBron James is a king, a GOAT, or one of them close to it anyway?
Years ago.
Yeah. See, so you're admitting that Trump's daddy was also the greatest.
I'm just saying this is how business works. You give people hand down. I'm not saying Eric and Don Jr.
Let me interrupt you.
Don Jr. would never be a GOAT.
I agree with you. Let me interrupt you. I got to interrupt you.
Okay, go ahead.
The reason he's bringing up Bronny is because Bronny is little LeBron James's little son. I call him little because he's only 6'3" or 6'5" or something like that, and LeBron James is at least like 6'7" or 6'9". So he's like shorter than his dad, 19 or 21 years old, and he's in the NBA. He played one season or less with like USC down here, University of Southern California, in the ghetto, and now he's in the NBA. And,
that's how business.
So you're pretending that Trump is not great. He's just second best to his dad. Maybe so. Right. You might be right. I don't know. Bronny is 6'2". Hake is.
Let me explain something else. There's a show called There's a show, and they got this character that was a big drug dealer named Big Meech. Now his son playing him, and it's blowing up. It's like BMF. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk about the show. But anyway, it's like hand me down. The black people are starting to.
Yeah, you slipped it in without me catching it.
I'm sorry. They starting to pull their kids in and hand down general wealth now. Like it hasn't been handed. This is about to be the first transfer of wealth from boomers to millennials, and I don't know. And you just got to see. Let God cook is all I'm saying. But with the violence going on, that sounds like black supremacy to me. Like, get it out the mud, and that's what they're doing. Y'all don't want to give them reparations. They're getting it from violence and taking it, and y'all letting them. I don't understand.
But you well know. So you're admitting that their mindset is reparations when they're stealing.
I don't know. I'm thinking they want what they ain't got, and a reparation would probably give it to them more than them taking it from Whitey.
Appeasement never works, man. Appeasement never works. You're only feeding the green-eyed monster of greed.
Have you ever tried it? Have you ever tried it personally?
I have tried appeasement, yeah, and appeasement doesn't work.
With who? With who?
They get worse. With
who did you give money to?
No, I tried to appease Frederica, and Frederica just got worse. Let God cook is only only a phrase to be used on the Joel Friday TV show. Let me check if Joel Friday's show is scheduled.
I think I heard it first with Anchor Baby, because Anchor Baby was hollering Let Him Cook.
He is kind of black infected. Anchor Baby is. That's where I learned that blacks have been infected. Was from Anchor Baby.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I mean, we've been infected by the blacks.
Was totally infected. Y'all had to take him off the air. Hassan was just too black for y'all. I see what y'all doing.
You're a mess.
No,
you're being a mess. But
no, William tried to call in and say I'm an independent because I don't want to be like a dumb Democrat. Why can't I just have my own way of thinking? I don't have to
because
be a
nobody
Democrat.
does.
All y'all got is dirt on Democrat. Y'all don't have no dirt on a free thinker. So y'all want to say, all these Democrats.
I know, but we don't have to have. You give dirt on yourself. You think you're a
like I'm a liberal. I am not a liberal.
Yeah, you are.
But he still
you're a little bit of a liberal.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, huh?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, huh?
No,
yes.
You don't.
Marxist.
Y'all
you're Marxist.
All think I'm the average black. Y'all don't know me. Apparently, y'all.
No, I'm not thinking you're the average black. No. I know that you're. Well, I don't want to go there.
Go ahead.
I think you're a little shorter. I think you're a little shorter than average. I think you're a little more friendly to JLP than average, and so you're not average. I'm not thinking that. You're just thinking. You're just thinking that you think
friendly to JLP. What do you mean?
Because you like church with Jesse Lee Peterson. You think he's right about different things. And also, you're shorter than most blacks. And there's all kinds of things that are not average about you, man. But you're just
nothing.
You're just thinking. You don't know what we're thinking. Why are you scared? Why are you?
No, I don't tell. Because I thought you were going to try to pin me as a liberal and say that I'm a Marxist or
well, yeah, I was going to bring up the Marx thing.
Pharaoh,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All of that other stuff you talking about is something we can't control. I don't care about how tall I am. I'm confident.
No, yeah, I'm not. I just bring that up because it's. I bring it up because it's like surprising and it's amusing. That's the only reason. I'm not trying to make you look bad.
What's amusing about somebody's height?
Because you're shorter than expected, and it's fun to joke about shortness.
That small-minded people joke about shortness. I don't.
Whatever. I'm plus or minus Caitlin Clark's height myself. I'm not saying that I'm some tall person.
Clark.
And I'm not supposed to say glass of water with regard to height anymore.
Hey, stop being insecure, man.
It's funny.
Insecure. You know what I'm saying? I'm 48 years old.
You're 48? How do you get to be 48? I thought you were 46. Are you lying to me?
No, I've been calling 2 years already. No, I just had a birthday. But still, I look better than you, and you way younger than me. Y'all been eating Botox.
How do you figure you look better? You look better than me. We're apples and oranges, you and I. I look pretty good for like an orange, maybe. You can say apples are better than oranges.
I'm going to take you, Joel, Hassan, Anchor Baby. We going now. We're going to see who goes home with the most.
Why are you acting like a woman? Women compare their looks. I'm better looking than you.
No, I mean, what are you talking about? A person's height is funny. How is that funny?
Because it's cute. It's funny to joke about height. You don't know this?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, look up.
Y'all must be that.
Have you ever heard of?
To be like, here he come. And
never mind, I'm not going to bring it
up. The alpha male come in the room like y'all know not to say. See, there's a society that jokes behind people's back, and the real people that walk the street don't know. And I just like, okay, that's what's up. In the chat, they be lying and saying 5'2". How tall do you really think I am? You know I'm not.
4'11".
Oh, stop, man.
No, you're roughly my height, plus or minus. And I'm roughly Caitlin Clark's height, plus or minus.
Yeah,
and Caitlin Clark is roughly.
They really don't know.
And Caitlin Clark is roughly Joel Friday TV's height, plus or minus.
Right.
So we're all the same. We are all the same.
We are the same.
Do you feel better?
But yeah, anyway, I wanted to go down. I got to my ear on the street. They trying to push the number up to 65% balance and reduce the number on black. So y'all need to help them get that number down because they trying to drive it up. And I'm just a negotiator in the middle. You know what I mean? I call the hood and check the temperature on the thermostat, and they be like, "Hey, let them know in Cali that we ain't happy." I said, "All right, I'll let them know."
Oh, so you have these imaginary connections, kind of like Joe from Phoenix has these sources, unnamed sources, who tell you what's going on.
Oh, yeah, I know what's going on. Trust me.
What's going on in the dark minds of the evil, angry blacks? Is that what you're talking about?
Yep.
Terrible. Yep. That's not good.
That's where RICKA got his character from. Sometimes he had to call in as one of them because I was the voice of him, but that's not really me. I play a character. That was the woman version on. I ain't gonna shoot out my friend's name, but he do a show, and that's where RICKA.
American Anchor Baby.
Show. Nope, it wasn't an Anchor Baby.
Okay, all right. No. That's enough.
He owns a trucking service in Tennessee. He's a good friend of mine. He just solo, but he calls in to Jesse too. He turned me on to Jesse.
Nice.
And yeah, he's a good dude. I like him. But anyway, I've been calling in the shows, arguing with y'all a long time. But
I like it. It's fun.
And, it's all about the character, man. It's all about the character.
Encourage your angry black friends and your Marxist friends to have some character. Tell them to tune into church. Tell them to do the silent prayer.
Call in and they like, see, Fred, that's how they really think about you. I said, Mark is just one of the oddballs. All of them not like Mark, but they be like, yeah, I think they are. They want to see us hung. They want to lynch us again, and he want to watch on the sideline.
Mark only wants to. If Mark wants to do that, it's only against the guilty ones. So they're weighing their heads about Mark. Tell them to worry about their own evil hearts.
Yeah, I will. I
sure
will.
Yeah. Not worry about it. Don't even worry about your own evil heart. Friends of RICKA, or fiends of RICKA, we should say, right? But notice the evil in your own evil heart. Because I thought that you were going to say that black supremacy started as a reaction against so-called white supremacy, but so-called white supremacy started as a reaction against this attack on the whites. You know, so
whites attacking whites. That's why I don't understand.
I know.
The FBI is attacking whites.
Yeah.
The FBI is 96% white.
But it's also 96.
What line are you drawing?
It's 96% anti-white. Did you notice that?
Just like
it's kind of like 96. It's kind of like
white people.
Hold on, man. It's kind of like 90% or 85% or something percent of black violent crime is against other blacks. So that's the same thing with the FBI. They're a bunch of liberals. They're not very Christian. Shout out to the FBI. I like the feds. I love the feds. Do you love the feds?
I don't know the feds.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean you don't have to know them to love them. You're a pharaoh. Pharaohs love everybody.
Benefits. Yeah, I guess so. I like my federal benefits. I ain't got to pay.
No, I'm not talking about benefit. I'm not talking about money, man. I'm talking about the people who are agents, federal agents.
Yeah.
You should. They need love too.
They ingredients in God too. They need love too. Yeah, that's a T-shirt. They need love too.
Feds need love too.
Feds need love too. I don't know about that. There's other people that need love before the feds, don't you think?
No, everybody needs love equally.
No. Some people's all right. They going after the regular people. They got a job that they can sit on their thumbs or solve some real crime.
Sometimes they do. They go after the PDFs a little bit, and sometimes it's right. Sometimes they maybe frame people.
Slap them on the wrist. They ain't doing nothing, man.
I know, but that's all you can do now is slap them on the wrist.
If the crime was death on TV, it'll stop tomorrow.
What?
Yeah. If they televise your execution, then same week you get caught. Yeah, they wouldn't. They're gonna put me on. They don't care about getting the chair off in a jail cell where ain't nobody gonna see them. They're gonna lie to everybody. You just been taken off the street and lost contact. No, embarrass him and his family so he'll think twice about it, and then they execute him live on TV. I bet they'd quit.
Well, anyway, I mean, that's old school thinking. That's how the whites used to be.
Yeah, good. Because we created that over there in my yard. Y'all just plagiarized our stuff.
Nice. It's not where we plagiarized it. We said, nice, we're taking it.
We're about to take it back to more than one wife because when y'all had excess of women, because you have one male to every 2 or 3 females, y'all turned it into a prostitution class over there in Europe. No, kings in Africa took on more than one because they knew the women in here were going to be lonely because we wasn't having as many boys as women. So over here, it's back to the prostitution class because there's an excess of women to boy ratio being born. What else is it for them to do but OnlyFans? So if I could take on more women and the blacks can take on more wives, and we're going to start our own pharaoh religion again, we're going to be all right. Y'all just flow with this monogamy. It's going to be all right. Let God cook.
Yeah, you're asking for trouble, but that's your trouble. If you want that hell, go for it.
No, men manipulate other men through women all the time. So be careful when you try to deny women in the military because we can send in women as spies. Next thing you know, they whole regimes topple, and we ain't have to shoot a bullet. You got to wake up, man. Men ain't too smart. It's the men behind the women that control the real simps. All right, have a good day, Hake.
You too, RICKA in Los Angeles. Take care.
All right.
Bye. He reminds me of Maze in that he changes the subject kind of unexpectedly, and it's wild. Make sure you catch Joel Friday TV. He's coming up next. Biden has checked out. Checked out metaphysically speaking, perhaps. It doesn't mean necessarily anything that you may jump to false conclusions about what Joel Friday TV is saying, okay? Don't jump to false conclusions. Like RICKA was jumping to false conclusions that I forget what. And so many people do. A lot of the times the blacks jump to crazy cockamamie conclusions, and a lot of people get in their heads about stuff that people say. So, yeah, Joel Friday TV on YouTube and Instagram. allmylinks.com/JoelFridayTV. That's where you can find many, if not all, of his things. Popcorn Thump Keg bought a coffee. What's the difference between using the term racism and the terms anti-white, anti-black, etc.? During a previous, and I'll try to do my best not to interrupt, even though I'm interrupting to say I'll try not to interrupt. He continues, during a previous call with Mark, you timidly said, shouldn't we just call it evil? When he used the term anti-white. But after that, including today, when he says anti-white, you just go, yeah, true, and offer no pushback. How is there no such thing as racism, but anti-white exists? You have a snap reaction to no such thing when Joe or John use the term racism. But you give Mark a lot of latitude every time he says anti-white or white hater. Very little pushback. What's the difference? Well, first of all, when John from Kentucky or Joe from Phoenix cries racism or you just hate black people on something, it has no basis in reality. It is like the opposite of reality. It's not the whites, it's not the blacks getting hated by the whites, it's the blacks hating the whites. And they're hating whites when they're calling them racist. And people are anti-white, but it's not because they're white. It's not rooted in race. Unless you want to say, oh, race is the white culture and civilization and they love what's right. And then in which case you could say anti-white. You could almost say anti-white on the inside. Like washed white as snow, as Christ washed, we are washed by the blood of Christ, and we are white as snow on the inside. Nothing to do with race. It's just that the culture has embraced that Christianity and that justice, true justice, not communist fake justice, right? True justice, true truth, and the American way. So it is, in a sense, anti-white. So it's like short for, yeah, they're brainwashed to think whites are racist, so that's anti-white, because they only use racism against whites for the most part, right? Every time I tell Joe the snake that racism is primarily only used against whites, he's like, racism can be from anybody, James. But yet, he only calls me so-called racist. He doesn't call me racist, but he says, I hate Trump, I hate Obama because he's black, which is not true. He calls different people neo-Nazis just because the internet does, just because links on Google say it. Ridiculous. He's showing a lack of having an independent, open, real, clear-thinking mind. So don't get hung up on the words. It's true. Sometimes I may go, it doesn't exist. Because it doesn't exist. The racism thing. Anti-white isn't anti-white racism. It's anti-white because they hate America. They hate what's right. They hate men. Too manly. You notice that when somebody says something about blacks and it's too manly, like they'll say the N-word or something, that is speaking your mind. Men speak their mind. Sometimes they're a bit rough around the edges. Too rough, too manly, too honest. Rick Santorum said, I don't want blacks to be on welfare, I want them working. Something like that. And then he was like, I didn't say that. Because it sounded racist. But that was too manly, Rick Santorum. So white is another word for manly and other things. Whites are, they're taking out the masculinity of the whites. Pretty successful job at it too, evil. Hopefully that helps. Timidly said, am I timid with Mark? What a mess. What a mess. I think he has a mission, Mark does, to promote knowledge, and promote some books and different people. He really wanted to promote that TikTok woman who said the N-word. Because she was a beautiful white woman who, spoke her mind. But that's the wrong mission. That's not what my show is for, so I don't really like that. I do like Mark speaking his mind from stuff that he's learned, but you don't have to be promoting stuff and telling people to go read this or that. That's not what my platform is for. Especially not without permission. He even promotes Mark Dice too much. What the heck? Just because I named Mark Dice once, he names him like 3 times. Come on, man. Fellow fan of the Jesse Lee Peterson show, by the way. Of JLP, you know. But, yeah, the term racism, I could say, oh, blacks are the most racist. Because everybody knows that if you believe in this racism thing, judging by race, blacks are the most guilty of judging by race. They profile a white as racist. They are all into helping one another. And they're also all into hurting one another, too. So everybody knows, even liberals know that. Whether they're Asian liberals or white liberals, they know that blacks are the most racist. So if you want to use that term, but it really isn't. It's at its root, it is an evil mind, an unjust mind, not a clear-thinking mind, a hate-filled mind. And there's many stuff that's called racist that people have a right to do. That's why I sort of like Krishan the Dawn's message that racism is oftentimes good. It can be good or bad. Stuff that's called racist, you know? I'm holding my my snake puppet from Carver. Shout out to Carver. He's funny. He seems funny. Nice, Popcorn Thump Keg. Did I satisfactorily explain? Anti-white, you could say it exists or doesn't exist. You'll notice that anybody who takes the side of the whites or the blacks catches hate from the people who hate them. The people who hate the whites, if, say, JLP, he loves whites, he loves everybody. And anybody who loves everybody is hated a lot. Trump loves everybody, is hated. Caitlin Clark loves everybody, she's hated. I'm just assuming, okay, that Caitlin Clark loves everybody. JLP loves everybody, he's hated. Jesus loves everybody, hated. Nice. Yeah, but interesting pointing that out. Popcorn Thump Keg. I could stand to be more alert and led by the moment in my responses, rather than just a habitual response. That's true. You don't want to do that. Don't take advice from Krishan the Dawn, guys. Kids, oh, come on. It's CHRISH, Krishan, AUN, the Dawn. Krishan the Dawn, musical artist, according to Google. 800-pound gorilla. Misfit Nation. Shout out. Nice. Thank you, as always, Popcorn Thump Keg. I appreciate your super chats. By the way, you know how I bring up evil? And sometimes you guys bring up PDF stuff. And I'm like, you're not better than them. And you guys all puffing up and looking down on the PDFs. And then you guys all taking the side of the criminals, the fellow prisoner inmates who would beat up and hurt or kill or whatever the PDFs or stab them. I guess that's included in hurt or kill. Which is celebrating evil, repaying evil for evil. It's not that I'm soft on the PDFs, it's that I'm hard on other evil as well. And it's not, what about this? What about that? It's not like I'm saying, don't talk about PDFs, what about the other stuff? Well, I am kind of saying don't talk about that because it's gross. It's vulgar. It's unpleasant. But also, there's this false puffing up. And you always want to watch you and your own evil self-righteousness, you know? And so I find it interesting that they have lowered the threshold of what's considered here's evil. Here's from bottom to top, okay? Let's put PDFs at the bottom, just for argument's sake, right? Sex outside of marriage is evil. Oh, but that's okay now. Divorce and remarriage is evil. Oh, that's okay now. Homosexuality is evil. Oh, but that's okay now. The transgender is evil. Oh, but that's okay now. The women leading things is evil. That's actually up here. Women leading things is evil. That's okay now. All these different things are celebrating the destruction of other people is evil. Oh, but that's okay now. Now the only thing that you guys think is not okay is the PDF stuff. But you'll accept all this other evil. You see, follow my thing? This is my evil arm. So I'm saying we need to raise the standard of what's considered evil. But no, you want to keep the standard low. Oh, we only want to think that PDF is evil. Nice. Right on. I'm saying right on to the point. And some of you guys are getting it, I think. We're calling more things evil. We're tougher on evil. We being like, say JLP, American Anchor Baby, maybe Joel Friday TV, who's coming up in 25 minutes. Or less, really. He's coming up in 23 minutes. Anything can happen in the next 23 minutes. We're calling more stuff evil because more stuff is evil. We're not being soft on evil. We're being hard on evil. Righteously hard on it. Anyway, that's my little message about evil. What else do I want to cover today? I have other things to touch on. Avocados. Watch out cutting avocados. Here's a light subject. By the way, speaking of knives and cutting, I heard that there is a law about, speaking of the PDF stuff, in like Louisiana or somewhere, right? That they want to surgically, not just chemically, surgically straight ass castrate the PDFs, people who would violate minors. And I'm sure it's like a case by case, you know, of course. But because there's like a 21-year-old with a 17-year-old or 19-year-old with a 17-year-old. It doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, they want to castrate them literally. Wild, huh? Where did I see that? I think I saw that in the skim. Punishment. A new form of punishment for certain sex crimes in Louisiana sparking debate. So much for the avocados. What to know about Louisiana's new surgical castration law, reporting July 1st, Jacqueline Diaz. NPR. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is Louisiana the first state to allow surgical castration be used as a punishment for sex crimes under a new law signed by Republican Governor Jeff Landry. The law goes into effect August 1st, allows judges to order people found guilty of certain sex crimes against minors to undergo surgical castration. The use of it as punishment, a permanent procedure that involves the surgical removal of of a man or a woman, you know, their parts of the parts anyway, ostensibly to stop production of sex hormones. Ooh, I'm getting lightheaded just reading this, but I found it somewhat interesting. That's why I'm sharing it with you. Is rare elsewhere around the world. The Czech Republic, Madagascar, and a state in Nigeria, have such laws on the books strongly been criticized by Amnesty International, which is evil. Amnesty International is evil. I'm not saying I endorse this law. Okay, I don't know. And other so-called human rights organizations. Amnesty International, correct me if I'm wrong, they hated Trump. They're for illegals. They're for the LGBT madness. They go way too far. They're mamas, which is to say evil. I'm not saying they're not like a godly mother. They are mamas, evil. Probably they think they're godly mothers. Several U.S. states, including Louisiana, as well as other countries, have laws allowing for the use of chemical castration, pharmaceutical drugs to quell the offender's sex drive for certain sex crimes. Wow, I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't know that that's what that did. Diminish the drive, the hormone or whatever. It's caused ripples of consternation, nice word, among criminal defense lawyers, advocates, and medical experts. Serious concerns around the ethics and constitutionality. Is that cruel and unusual punishment? I mean, it didn't used to be unusual. I don't think. Like, hanging and stuff like that. Didn't used to be unusual. Confusing, absolutely unprecedented, draconian, and overkill, said this woman with a Irish last name, I think. Gwyneth O'Neill. New Orleans-based criminal, probably black maybe, who knows. Total speculation, I don't know. Criminal defense attorney, member of National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. Representative Delisha Boyd told NPR the law will be a strong deterrent. Oh, she's one of the drafters? Delisha, that sounds like a woman's name. Women go too far. And a lot of you males who are all passionate, you go too far. So I don't like these women, I don't think. I think, but I'm not sure, that what's that ban? Prohibition of the alcohol? I'm told that was like a woman thing. Women's vote and prohibition of alcohol. Like it was a woman, mama spirit government. Whereas Trump, for example, let's talk about this. Trump, for example, claimed that he would not sign a abortion ban into law. And that reminds me of God. Did you know that God let his people, the Israelites, do something foolish and wrong? They asked for a king. He's like, okay, you want a king? I'll give you a king. He's going to rule over you, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's going to be a mess. And if he does evil, y'all are going to pay for it. Y'all. He didn't say y'all, because God is not Southern. But shout out to the Southern people of God. Nice. But he's like, okay, all right. He let them. It's like Trump is going to let these people keep killing the babies because they're so committed to it. At least he'll let the states decide, Isn't that interesting? Whereas a mama spirit would be like, no, you can't kill the babies. No, you can't drink alcohol. No, you can't say mean things on the internet. We're going to violate your freedom of speech. We're going to call it hate speech. Evil mama spirit want to enforce a false version of love by introducing this fake idea called hate speech. Evil mama spirit. Also communist. So, interesting. So I wonder if this surgical castration in Louisiana is a wise thing or a woman thing. Shout out to the women. But a lot of women in government, excuse me, are not wise. Except for, what's her name? You know that woman, Michelle Bachmann. And of course, Sonia Sotomayor, a wise Latina. You know? So, Trump and God letting the people be evil. Mama spirit to not want to kill the babies? What the world? Says Charlie Church. Yes, Mama spirit infects both people. Charlie, Chutch. I say Chutch because that's what Anchor Baby calls it. Yeah, Mama spirit wants to kill the babies, but also there's a Mama spirit that doesn't want to kill the babies. And there are two Mama spirits fighting. Most of the pro-life women don't know what's right. They don't know what's good for them. When you looked at the pro-life women, the prominent ones, they hated Trump. They were like anybody but Trump. Pardon me, I bumped the mic. Suckers, Mama spirit, blind. There is a blind Mama spirit infecting even the Christians, the conservatives, the pro-lifers. So that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Charlie Chutch, hopefully I'm explaining. Fair enough. You know, as Jesus said, he with ears to hear, let him hear. And she too, let her hear. Anyway, let me get back. Let me do this thing, because I promised. Avocados. Don't cut your hands or fingers or tendons or nerves on the avocados. The far-left extremist Washington Compost split their infinitive because they're sloppy. How to safely cut. No, it's how safely to cut, or how to cut safely open an avocado, or how to cut open an avocado safely. How safely to cut open an avocado. Avocados are chock full of fiber, healthy fats, potassium, and other vitamins. Shout out to the British. It's vitamins, but they call them vitamins, I think. And minerals. One of the most nutritious fruits. Fruit that you can eat. Yes, they are technically fruits. Nerds. Don't call people nerds too much, kids. By cutting them open, you shouldn't... But cutting them open shouldn't mean risking a trip to the emergency room. Here's how to safely... Split infinitives. That's the mama spirit in Hake. That's the grammar mama Nazi. Place the avocado on a cutting board. Cutting board? You're supposed to hold it in your hands. You're supposed to hold it in your hands and brace it so it doesn't risk, right? Can't you do it that way? I don't know. Using your non-dominant hand to hold it in place. With your dominant hand, hold a knife parallel to the cutting board. Carefully cut the avocado half lengthwise around the seed, rotating the fruit around the table. Oh, okay. That's what they suggest. Hold the avocado in your hands and make a twisting motion to separate the two halves. I'm sort of demonstrating. I don't know if it's... You guys probably know. Hold the half... I never cut open avocados. I let my mom do it when I was a kid. She would make guacamole, mix it with like La Victoria mild salsa, sometimes medium. And it's simple and easy and tasty. And it turned, brownish green really fast because it's the air, and it's fine. It's not bad yet. It wasn't that bright, fresh green that the restaurants have and stuff. Hold the half that contains the pit in your non-dominant hand. Gently squeeze to help separate the pit from the flesh. And use a spoon to scoop it out with your other hand. Or try the pop method. Place both thumbs on the skin side, right behind the pit, and push the pit away from you. Anyway, you get the thing. Oh, place one half of the avocado skin side down because you have the skin to contend with, right? Cutting board, hold the side of the avocado with one hand and cut from the top to bottom. Oh, okay, so it's down. like that. Like, imagine my octopus is an avocado, and then you can chop it, because it's not going to roll on you at that point. And then, you know, you can use a spoon or your fingers to peel the skin from each quarter of the avocado, because you've quartered it at that point. Nice, huh? Right on. They say that there's been a lot of people, like I said, cut the nerves, cut their tendons, maybe even ligaments. I don't know, are there ligaments in your hands? There's got to be ligaments that line the bones together, in addition to tendons that tie the muscles to the bone. I only know this from 8th grade. My last science knowledge is from 8th grade. Tendons tie the muscles to the bone. Ligaments line the bones in the body. I got to end pretty soon. So don't cut yourself. People have cut their fingers off. You know, people are careful now. Be careful. In art class, I knew they say cut away from you. Don't cut towards yourself. Okay? Like you keep this knife on the other side of the ruler, with straight edge, whatever, and cut away from you and stay clear. Because my female art, thank you, Hassan. My female art teacher said, I'm going to go ballistic if I see you cutting wrong. Wrongly, or not inappropriately, whatever. Hake failed home economics. I know, they used to call it they used to call it homemaking. But now they call it home economics. I didn't want to take that. I wanted to take shop. Men take shop. Women take homemaking. I mean, the boys take shop. The girls take homemaking. But some of it's good skills. I gotta end. On time, hopefully. Let's see what we can do here, guys. Check for any remaining super chats. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Let me check for what music I wanted to play. Oh, yeah. I want to play The Heron. Okay, you see that? It's number 8, The Heron. A Dream of Waters, Part 2 from the Skygreen Leopards, guys. But I think I have a few moments. I have like 20 seconds. Let me just double check for any super chats. Oh, man. Okay. Shout out to Fuzzy Frankenbeans for the lemon. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Shout out to the people who supported me over on Streamlabs and Buy Me a Coffee and elsewhere. I'll check for any remaining super chats and read them to you tomorrow. Enjoy Skygreen Leopards. Adios, America. Bye. White History Month. Chihuahua Friday coming up next. I like how soft it is and lilting. Oh. So good, right? Isn't it nice? This makes me think of Azzmador, by the way. I don't think he liked this song that much. He thought it was soft. Rest in peace, Az and friends. Not that the friends are died too. They died inside a little bit. Indie sleaze. Indeed. Adios, America. Joel Friday TV coming up next. Bye.